This episode is proudly supported by Pepe Sayer Australian Cultured Butter.
At Pepe Sayer, we focus on quality. So if someone comes into your restaurant and they see you're using Pepe Sayer, they know immediately that that is a quality product you've got in front of you on the table. And that comes from a decade of just doing quality butter day after day.
For more information, go to pepesayer.com.au.
It wasn't like, no, we're butchers, we don't make sauces or condiments. It was sort of like anything's a possibility, anything's an option, no stone left unturned. We're hard workers over here and we want to create a good thing, and if it's a good idea, I'm all for anything, really.
This is The Producers. I'm Dani Valent. We produce flavour. That's a very nice mission statement from Killer Condiments Nathan Creary, a shop fitter turned farmer turned butcher turned condiment king. We dig in with Nathan and learn the story of the homestyle chimichurri that customers loved so much that he turned it into a jarred product, first as a side hustle and now as a growing business.
My name's Nathan Creary. My company is Killer Condiments, and we produce flavour. That's I suppose the easy, simple one-worder of what Killer is. We own a few butcher shops. We operate a few butcher shops, and with that, we were sort of pre-COVID selling everyone else's condiments and sauces and whatnot. And me and one of my chefs, we both used chimichurri on the weekends when we cooked at home, and so we just started making it in house and having it there for customers to complement the meats that they were buying. One thing led to another, and we were sort of making hot sauces and soy dressings and all sorts of things. And although it wasn't Killer at the time, it was a range of sauces that we sold at Farmgate. It led to that's where it started. That's where Killer started. It sort of got to a point. I was probably scrolling on Instagram or something, and noticed other products that were similar in the market that other butchers and independents were selling, and I said to the guys, I said to my team, I said, everyone should have access to what we're doing, and that was where Killer was born, we started from there. It's like all sort of startups and small business owners, we've got lots of stories and hurdles and hiccups and all that sort of stuff. And it's sort of the last, we officially launched at the Easter show this year, but I think I might have registered the business name 2.5 years ago, something like that. So between running our businesses now and getting this little baby off the ground, that's the time it's sort of taken to get to where we are today.
Nathan's butcher shops are a byproduct of his farming. The first Farmgate to Plate store opened 8 years ago with the bywords premium, traceable, quality, and there are now 2 shops in southern Sydney and deliveries all around the region. Nathan freely admits there are better people on the knives than him, including on his own staff, but he's always willing to jump in and chop some chops.
We've got our 3 shops are located in the Sutherland Shire, so Farmgate to Plate and a little business called Fred's Providore. Butchery started for me, I'm going to say 9-10 years ago. Me and my partner, my business partner, bought a farm, and we bought 40 cow and calves. We hadn't farmed before. I sold my house up in Sydney and we hadn't farmed before. And we bought 40 cow and cows with calf on an online auction, which is sort of standard in the industry. And they got delivered, and it's sort of like when you walk out of the hospital with your firstborn. You're straight away like, okay, we're farmers. What do we do now? What was really cool that we're hard work's in our blood, and we learnt and listened and self-taught and standard made mistakes, and next minute we had 400 ewes, 1,000 hens, with ewes with lambs at foot, and 400 hens and 60 head of cattle. Then we're doing embryo transfer programs with full blood Wagyu embryos, and that then led to us going to farmers markets. We had a product that we needed to move, and we put love into this product, and we felt that it wasn't suitable for sending to auctions or sending to sale yards. So we went out to other butchers, and got butchers to prepare and cut and cryovac and pack our meat, and we went out to farmers markets. And I think it was the fourth butcher. I was talking to a friend in the industry, and she said, Nat, we went through 4 butchers, and then we decided to take it on ourselves, and it was the 4th butcher that we went through, and we said, stuff this, let's do it. We got a butcher shop locally to us, which is sort of our was our first store, which we still have. The guy that was running it wanted to get out, and we took it over, and that was 8 years ago now. I had no idea where an eye fillet. I was so naive. I had no idea where an eye fillet was on a body, or how to make a sausage or anything. It felt like I did 3 apprenticeships, like in the first 3 years. Like it was crazy learning, so we've got a team of maybe 30 staff now across 3 sites. We still do our original farmers market that we started with out at Sutherland, we home deliver, and we've got a really, really good team. We've got a bunch of legends that work for us now, and I'm not on the knives as much anymore, but if needed, or if someone's sick or whatever, I'll always jump in and do a day in the shop with the guys. It's funny, like I'm a shop fitter by trade. I've always worked and hard, like any business owner, they'll tell you, you've got to be the first one in, the last one out. It's not easy and all that sort of stuff, and that just wasn't foreign. I was all about that. I grew up. My granddad had a farm down in Berry. I really wanted to continue that or relive that, and in starting up a business, everyone's got to eat. But I also felt like at the time the meat industry could. I felt like the meat industry could do better. I reckon in the last 10 years it's changed like quite significantly. But at the time, I hadn't heard about regenerative agriculture, or I hadn't. It probably wasn't as the knowledge, the information maybe it wasn't as publicly available, or around. Whereas now I feel like it's in the last 10 years it's changed massively. Restaurants feature certain farms on their menus, and I think it's great. So that's, I felt it could be done better. That was sort of where it started, and Farmgate started that way. It's evolved a lot. I quickly couldn't produce enough meat for our butchery, so we went out to local farmers. We now still go out to farmers, but we've got some amazing brands that we work with as well, and we've got like a real selection of whether it's Wagyu or whether it's grass-fed beef or we make all of our own small goods. We make all of our own hams, all our own bacon in-house and whatnot. And I don't know. It started with wanting to put love into something, and put love into food, which felt like it was an industry where customers were used to getting it off a shelf at a grocery store wrapped in plastic. It started wanting to do better.
What do you need with meat? Clearly, you need yummy bits and pieces to spoon on the plate alongside it. Nathan tells the story of getting started with Killer Condiments.
I had a chef, a friend working for me, and we were in the kitchen one day. We set up a kitchen. He'd sort of had enough with the industry, and I saw him one day and I said, "Oh well, do you want to? I'll set a kitchen up for you. Let's start doing something." And he's like, "Dude, I've never butchered in my life," and I said, "It's all right. Neither did I before." And I said, like, I can teach you to do stuff. And full disclaimer, my team is way better butchers than what I am, and it is it's a craft, it's an art form. I just do my best, but I said to him to come over, and that's not a problem that you hadn't done it before, just right attitude sort of stuff, And he came in, and we developed a ready sort of meal range and all that sort of stuff, and as I say, like we cook at home, and you talk with passion when you're talking to customers about what you do and how you do it, and we always did chimichurri at home, and that was sort of where it started. We bought a heap of jars and didn't have a label at the time. Like, it was that typical sort of origin story of, you look back now compared to what we do now and lab testing and all sorts of things, it was just so, underdone. I don't know. But yeah, we just did it in jars with no label. This is our chimichurri, and it went great. And it literally, it got to a point, one of my friends actually said to me, where I sort of knew it had legs, a friend of mine said to me, my fridge feels empty unless it's got a jar of your chimichurri or crispy chili or whatever it was in it. And that was when it sort of, I don't know, like something clicked, and I was like, and again, I saw, the other businesses, there was so many products out there. I was like, well, why can't we be one of them? And yeah, so the range, far out, we've done some things like some different sauces, and basically the first four the four that we started with Killer were just the ones that sold the best in store. We've got plenty up our sleeves sort of thing, but all in good time. So we opened up with the first four. We came up with the name. We wanted to be bold, we wanted to stand out on shelf, but not be silly like some hot sauce brands have, standout names like, ring stinger and all sorts of things. We wanted it to be bold, and we wanted it to stand out on the shelf. And that's sort of where we came up with Killer. It describes what it is. They're killer sauces. They won't kill you, but they're killer sauces. They're full of flavour. And so, yeah, we opened up with our chimichurri, blood orange hot sauce, crispy chili oil, which is all the sort of rage of late, and sticky soy, which is a dumpling dipping sauce or marinade. They're super versatile. You can marinate with them. You can dip with them. They're a finishing sauce, all that sort of stuff. And of recent, I think for Fine Foods, we've got 2 new products that we're launching next week. So we've got a pine lime hot sauce, and we got told with Killer our name represent like it. We weren't hot enough. we got. I wanted all of our sauces to be approachable, but we kept getting told we weren't hot enough. So this pine lime hot sauce is pretty hot, but we've done a supercharged crispy chili oil too, which, some people don't like. It's way too hot for them. But yeah.
Chimichurri is the OG Killer condiment, but what separates a great chimichurri from all the rest?
Chimi just freshens a steak. So for me, compared to the old school, pepper sauce or mushroom sauce or whatever, which can be quite heavy, especially on maybe a fattier steak or a richer steak, the vinegar in a chimichurri, along with the freshness of the herbs, it lightens the meal. It freshens up the steak. What makes a good one? I think balance. I think a good balance between not too much vinegar. I don't know. Everyone's got their own taste. Everyone's got their own the way they do it. we launched, as I said, at the Easter show, and it's funny, it's such a broad cross section of customers and people, and one person's like Argentinian, and they're like, give me a taste of your chimney, and you sort of get the eyebrows like, oh, that's all right, and it's like, far out, okay, we're onto a good thing, and then you're onto someone else, and it's like, oh no, that's not for me, give me the sticky soy. Like it's really funny. So for me it's balance. But yeah, I've learnt with Killer that everyone's got their own flavour, everyone's got their own the way they like things, And how do we have it? I simply have it next to my steak and dip it in. But I've got one of my guys here that works with us. He like finishes his roast potatoes with it. So yeah, there's different ways you can have things.
Nathan isn't exactly new to running a business, but starting a condiment company is different to anything else he's done. He shares some ups and downs along the way, including a brush with the Taliban.
There are some funny stories. So yeah, Killer started. We actually are using the jar now that we started with, but we did go through a range of like trialing all different jars. We work with a supplier in Sydney now who's across Australia, and they've been amazing in sort of being able to supply us and work with compliance too, like create new parts of the jar, new lids that comply. They've been amazing. Working with sort of manufacturing partners, we weren't able to produce it all in-house in the end. So being able to be there for every batch that gets made and sort of, I suppose, vet it and okay it, which is amazing. But after eating so much chili all the time, your taste buds do go at the end of the day, which is something new to me. Typical new business, like all the hurdles, like printing 12,000 labels and missing and spelling mistakes that you shouldn't have let go, and not being happy with the original design and then changing it last minute. And I remember when we started, we had the name Killer, Killer Condiments. Going through the whole setup. So starting up, cool, we've got to get a website. I was like, fire it, how can I do it differently? I wanted to be bold. I wanted Killer to stand out. And I said to myself, I wonder if I can register killer.af, killer as fuck. And I could, and it worked, and I registered it. About an hour later, I got an email from, and this was a couple of years ago, and I got an email from the Afghanistan domain department or something, and it was just as I think it was like the Taliban took over, like the city or over in Afghanistan. Like, it was major news, and this Aussie guy has just registered killer.afghanistan in Sydney. and I was freaking out. I was like trying to cancel the domain, and no one would cancel it for me. Once you register it, you own it for a year apparently. And I was freaking out that the AFP would be looking into me and I'd be getting a knock on the door or a phone call. Anyway, fortunately none of that happened. But yeah, that's, I don't know, one of the funny stories that that happened in Killer's startup. Early days. Anyway, killer.com now. killercondiments.com. So, and then, to batching and producing. So, we work with HACCP accredited facilities now. Shelf life testing through laboratories, all that sort of thing is pretty standard now. I suppose probably, the biggest thing, like with buying a farm and not being a farmer, is learning along the way, and just working hard at understanding the process and sort of pushing forward, working towards a preservative-free, gluten-free product that has 2 year, making sure that it's shelf stable, for example, and getting a 2-year shelf life out of the product. You know, there was a couple of like important factors that I wanted to make sure that we had with our products. Yeah, having a shelf stable product was one of those things. I didn't want to have our products in jars and needing to be refrigerated for us or for anyone who's reselling our product. You know, I wanted it to be on the shelf, front and center, out of a fridge, in your face, sort of thing.
They're happy with the products, but getting them on retailers' shelves can be a slog. Who's handling that for Killer Condiments? And where does Nathan see the company going?
So I'm like really into businesses over here, so I don't really get a heap of time to. I haven't been able to be like that one front for Killer. I'm sort of like the guy in the background at the moment, which is nice. One of my mates. So my mate Dan is managing Killer. Dan's like been on the really on the cold call, you know, and just sort of like really trying to get out there and introduce people to our product. Right now we're in, I think it's close to 60 retailers up we're a few in Victoria, a few in Queensland, and majority in New South Wales. We have a distributor in Queensland and in New South Wales now that have recently come on board. So yeah, probably what are we in September? So we're sort of 5 months since launch in at the Easter show. So yeah, over the last 5 months, a lot of you know, things don't kick overnight. So we're out at farmers markets. We're talking to we're talking to businesses that have, you know, 5 or 6 stores, you know, to their name. We're talking with. We're not sure that majors is the way to go for us. We really want to stay with independents. So that also means, you know, sort of getting out there on the road and spending time promoting and talking and sampling and, I don't know, getting the name out there, getting the product out there. So yeah, 60 retailers at the moment, which is great. We've got Brett Laws is sort of our ambassador within the butchery community, and Brett's doing great. He's on the Australian butchery team. He loves to cook too, so it's really cool. I think he did like a pulled pork pine lime slider last night or something along those lines. So yeah, it's really good having him on board and having people around us that believe in what we're doing. Yeah. So, and then future wise, where we're going, we've got Fine Foods next week. I think we're booked in to do meat stock early next year. And then, yeah, I think other than that, it's just getting out there and getting the name out there.
From shop fitting to farming to butchering to condiments, Nathan sees business as a creative endeavour. What does he find most satisfying and rewarding?
I've always really liked business. When I was earlier on, I couldn't have told you exactly what direction it would be, but I just knew that I loved business. I love creating. I love creating and showing, creating things, whether it's products or stores or values or whatever that our customers love, and not necessarily with myself at the front, but I don't know. It's nice having. I really like the fact that our team works for businesses that is respected within the industry, maybe, but has a customer base a returning customer base that loves what we do. I think it's quite rewarding. It's rewarding for the team, which is in turn rewarding for me.
The Killer Condiments business is only a few months old, but it's going extremely well. bouncing off a strong customer community and the drive of its founders. Nathan's can-do approach and relish for hard work, and his relish for relishes, has given the young enterprise a flying start. This is The Producers, a Deep in the Weeds production. I'm Dani Valent. Stay tuned as we talk to some of Australia's best farmers, makers and growers. Follow us on Instagram at Producers Podcast or contact us via deepintheweeds.com.au.